At launch, Lords of the Fallen was a game that I really disliked for a number of reasons, but the biggest just being it was more frustrating and tedious to me than it actually was fun. The enemy density was ludicrously high, where there would be enemies, especially if you're in the spectral realm, legitimately everywhere, to the point where you felt like you couldn't even move or explore the world and you just kind of had to keep sprinting forward. At least that's how I kind of felt about the game. The enemy variety in general was pretty lackluster. I thought the combat in general was very floaty, lacking of impact. There was a lot of movement in your attacks, which would throw you off of cliffs, which was extremely frustrating. And honestly, I think this was kind of similar to the general consensus of how most people thought about this game when it launched. Of course, there were people with very valid reasons to love this game as well. But while most studios will move on to the next project or move on to the next game and kind of forget about something that was a little bit lackluster for most people, CI Games did the complete opposite and have been continuously updating this game based on player feedback since launch. They have not given up on this game, to the point where now they just released a version 2.0 of the game that, in my opinion, looks amazing, and it's definitely going to make me jump back in. But before I get into how many things they've done to make this game better up to this point, as well as what's coming in this 2.0 update that I'm very excited about, I just want to quickly say that we need to celebrate developers that don't abandon their games after that initial lackluster feedback, that continuously update their game and give you content and give you improvements for free, even years down the road, to the point where, at least with Lords of the Fallen, it looks like a completely different experience than we got at launch, honed because of the feedback players have given and that they've taken and implemented into the game. We've seen games like No Man's Sky and Cyberpunk, for example, that received pretty poor feedback at launch and now are both considered some of the best games in their respective genres. And I'm hoping the same thing happens with Lords of the Fallen. You can already see it being very fruitful for them in regards to how many people are back playing this game. Now, jumping into it, immediately after launch, CI Games started fixing some issues with the performance, specifically the bugs and the stuttering, which was very needed. Now, despite saying they weren't going to fix any of these things, the enemy density and the way that the enemies leashed to the player throughout the entire game and never stopped were big issues. And credit to them, they went back on their word and fixed some of these things, at least in the major areas that they were problems. They added things like summonable NPCs, like you'd see in Souls games, for example. They added an entire game modifier system to adjust the difficulty for yourself in very different ways, like enemy damage, health, etc. Although I never played New Game Plus, they made a lot of improvements there because I know people had big problems with New Game Plus. And they have been consistently improving the fluidity of the combat and the movement to this day. And they've made so many other changes to balancing and progression and things like that, that just overall the players and the feedback from the community have said have been all great changes. But while many people thought patch 1.7 would be the final patch for this game, and there wouldn't be anything else and any new updates for Lords of the Fallen in general, 2.0, the point of this video, has overhauled the game again with changes that have brought so many people back into the game, and pretty much everybody has just said it's incredible and it's the best version by far the game has ever been in. So what's new coming in version 2.0? Well, the first big thing is full shared progression co-op, something a lot of Souls games shy away from. You can now have a true co-op experience with a friend through the entire game with saved and shared progression for things like loot, vigor, etc. You can even revive each other, and this is absolutely amazing. But what makes this even better is that they're offering something called the free friend pass, where someone who doesn't have the game can play the entire game with you if you have the game for free after they beat the tutorial. This is incredible and such a good way to get more people into the game to experience not only the co-op, but the game for the first time when it's in the best version it's ever been in. Now, what have they done to improve the combat and the movement? Well, they've improved weapon responsiveness, they've upgraded lock-on prompts, they've given you smoother evasion so battles feel more fluid, they've upgraded the audio within battles for parrying, blocking, and fighting in general. There is a mechanic called soulslike that you can use in combat that took took very long to do. This is now quicker, so it is a more effective tool when you are in combat. And then on top of this, with the movement in general, they've refined turning and running animations, so you feel like you have more control and it doesn't feel as floaty. And from the feedback from players already so far is that it feels fantastic. Now moving on, they've also added a new mechanic called lamp guidance. So if you do get lost at any point in the game, which I think some of these maps are a little bit convoluted on where to specifically go, this is going to help you get there by revealing the path to the next vestige, which is what they call this game's bonfires. They've also overhauled the entire character creator with more improved facial options, textures, and body shapes for more realistic looking characters in general. They added a dedicated jump button. Thank God. I can't tell you how many times I died in this game trying to leap across something while 1,000 enemies without a leash were chasing me. Great addition. They've changed up the entire UI. It's more streamlined and modernized and easier to navigate in general. And last but not least, they revamped the tutorial and the guidebook for the game. So if you are new, especially for using that friend pass, etc., you're going to have a much easier time getting into the game for the first time and just knowing what the hell to do and what's going on. For a game that was received poorly, gotten all of these updates, thought it was not going to get any more updates at all, releasing something this big out of nowhere for free is absolutely insane. And the fact that a friend can play with you for free and have full shared progression throughout the entire game is awesome. I cannot believe this is coming just out of the blue for this game, and thank you CI Games for doing this. It's something, again, a lot of developers wouldn't dare to do. They would move on to the next project. They would abandon the one that didn't get great feedback. They wouldn't stick to it and make it the best it can be and give so many options for people to literally experience this game for free, even with a friend. Thank you. It is awesome. Now, I believe this game is on Game Pass. It's also only $20 right now on Steam, and their player base has been going up pretty substantially over the last few days with this update being announced, and now with people playing this brand new update that they've been absolutely loving. So if you haven't played this game before, definitely this is the perfect time to hop in and let me know what you think about it. In general, down below in the comments, I would love to hear if you played this game on launch and if you liked it on launch. Have you consistently played it after launch and enjoyed a lot of the updates they've added? And are you excited for version 2.0? I would love to hear your guys' thoughts down below in the comments. Thank you guys for watching this video. For my new viewers, if you like RPG gaming news and reviews and you like the video that you see here, please like and subscribe. And for my returning viewers, thank you guys as always for the support. Please like this video if you like the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace!